Guys, look at this. This is what my room looks like right now. It's kind of bananas. I had kind of, for some reason, thought that this was gonna be like a simple, fun, crafty activity, when in fact, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I don't know. I did not know this is what it was gonna turn out like. As you can see, this is really getting me thinking a lot. Oh, I'm like literally so shocked. I thought this was gonna be a really chill, fun, relaxing activity. Breathe through it. I'm struggling. Those feelings really got triggered in this process. I kind of feel like I just learned a lot about myself. There are some things that I'm still working through. Hi friends, today's gonna be such a fun video because I'm gonna take you with me as I start my very first junk journal. I'm sure you've seen these junk journals all around social media lately. I feel like they've become very popular in the last year or two, and I'm personally a very big fan of the concept. It's like a more laid back version of scrapbooking or bullet journaling, and there's this element of repurposing items from your daily life, random bits of ephemera, things that would otherwise end up in the trash. I have so many thoughts on this trend as a former bullet journal person myself, as someone who is trying to reduce my own waste and be more mindful of consumption, and just as someone who loves aesthetics. I love making the visuals of my life into things that have meaning or things that are just a joy to look at. And in general, I've just been thinking so much about the role of art in our lives. You know, I have so much to say, but we'll chit chat more as we get into it. So come junk journal with me. I am a total beginner to junk journaling here, so I'm just gonna show you my process of how I'm getting started with it, what supplies I'm using, and we'll just hang out, make some pages together, and see where this goes. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Make sure to subscribe if you like the vibes around here. I make videos about slowing down, getting intentional, thoughtful planning systems, and other fun stuff like this. Okay, let's start junk journaling. Okay, so let's start off with the notebook that I'm going to be using for my junk journal. So I actually purchased a couple of items from Leela Journals several months ago, and I never got around to, digging into the package, so you kind of get to see me opening this up for the first time now. I first started following Aarti at Leela Journals for her bullet journal setup videos maybe like a few years ago, and now she makes the most stunning, ethereal, witheringly gorgeous notebooks and stationery. I'll link her stuff down below. Are you kidding me? How cute is this? Wow, holy moly. Oh my god, I don't even know what to say. I bought 2 of her notebooks with the intention of using at least one of them for a junk journal, and then I also got a couple stickers and other goodies, which maybe I'll use today in some of my pages, we'll see. So beautiful, wow. Look at all of these lovely little stickers. These are gonna be perfect for a junk journal. Ah! Oh my gosh, sorry, I've never done an unboxing like this, and I don't think I'm doing it very well. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I don't even know what this is. So I didn't actually buy all these. These are like little freebies that came with my purchase, I guess. Holy moly. Oh my god, I can barely breathe. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god, I need to just... Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you kidding with how gorgeous this is? This was not intended to just be a full, unboxing, but wow. Oh my goodness. Let's open this bad boy. Okay, wait, should we set up? Guys, I'm new to this whole thing, if it's not clear yet. Should we put some of this stuff around to help decorate the space? Oh my god, I'm gonna scream. Everything is so beautiful. Okay. How's the seam look? Am I doing too much? Okay, I'll stop. Okay, let's open this thing up. Oh. Oh, I'm not emotionally prepared for this. Holy shit. Okay, I'm calm, I'm cozy. I'm not calm. I'm not calm at all. I wonder if this captures on camera how stunningly beautiful this is. I had this specific journal in mind when I was thinking about starting to junk journal. This is the exact notebook that I had in mind for this endeavor. Okay, let's open up this other one and see what the other one looks like. I actually am like completely floored. Oh my gosh, I am completely floored with how beautiful this is. I will obviously leave links to all of Arthy's stuff. Wow. Oh my gosh, is this maybe the most beautiful journal you've ever seen in your life? Wow. Oh my goodness. I think for today, this might be the notebook that I'll be using for the junk journal because it is gorgeous. I love this soft cloth. Pink is my favorite color, obviously, but specifically this kind of like pale peachy pink really just speaks to me. Okay, so if you're not familiar, the basic idea of a junk journal is you use random scraps that you naturally collect in your daily life. So receipts, wrappers, tickets, product packaging that's like too pretty to throw away. Truly any like bits of junk that you are naturally collecting, you just collage it all together in a journal. And the main purpose of this is really just to do something really laid back and creative, something really free form with no rules, no parameters, nothing that you're really trying to achieve. I think the idea is really just to glue stuff to paper and, then it lives in your notebook and that's it. It serves no other purpose other than to just be a creative outlet for you. And I don't know, it sounds so freeing, right? These are the supplies I'm using, by the way. The idea is that you can really start a junk journal with just any notebook you have lying around, whatever art supplies you have on hand. I happen to have a lot of washi tapes, stamps, stickers, stationery bits, because like I said, I did used to do bullet journaling as my main planning system, so I do have a lot of these supplies on hand. I'll try to leave some of the links in the description, but I have had a lot of this stuff for a long time now, so I don't know if I actually know where it all came from. One thing that I really like about the idea of junk journaling is that it seems like a really cool tactile way to document your experiences and memories, and to have a pretty way to display those little bits of memorabilia. I'm someone who loves holding on to ticket stubs and old birthday cards and that brochure I got from that one museum I visited that one time. Like, I love keeping all this stuff, but I've never really had a good way to do anything with it other than, keep it all in a little box or folder somewhere in my deep storage. So I have this big envelope of scraps I've been collecting over the past few months. I've been thinking about starting a junk journal for a while, so I just sort of started keeping some little scraps and things that I've been coming across in my day-to-day, and I just, I've tucked it away in this folder, and now I have a pretty significant pile. Okay, so this is some product packaging that I just thought was so beautiful at the time that I purchased and used these products. We've got business cards, cute little notes from businesses that I've purchased from. This is from a concert that I went to. Here's a random little, coloring book. I think I got this from a massage parlor, a spa. You can see there's these little patterns that maybe I'll use. This is even just a bag from a bookstore that I purchased a book from. The bag itself just looked cute to me. I got a ton of boarding passes from a bunch of trips I took last year. More product packaging that's just, I think this was from a deck of cards, but I just thought that this was really pretty. I also have a bunch of cards people have given me for, birthdays and stuff for my partner for anniversaries. So these are really precious, and I am really excited to have a home for something like this. What else? More really cool business cards, concert tickets, literally just a tea bag. Oh, I forgot that I had this, but at some point I had purchased, actually, these are little bits of ephemera that I got from a vintage store. So these are little vintage bits specifically created for a junk journal. You definitely do not need
kit like this to do a junk journal, but I think I got these actually to be like a souvenir for some friends to be as like a gift. So I don't actually know that I'm going to dig into these today, but maybe if I do another video and I keep one of them, I'll open one of these little packages so we can kind of see what's in them. But you can see they just come with a bunch of different like odd little bits, but I think I have enough bits honestly that are actually for my life that I don't think I'll need these, but let's see. I also have a bunch of these Polaroids from just various occasions over the last year, so I might bring in some of these as well. Also, I just quickly organized all of these bits chronologically based on the occasions I accumulated them. One thing I know I want to do today is maybe create at least one spread dedicated to like a specific trip that I have a lot of memorabilia from. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, organizing all of these scraps was a little stressful because I had a lot of them. Literally, these are going all the way back to like 2023. That's like 2 years of scraps, and the whole point of this is that it's supposed to be like low pressure, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I am feeling precious looking at all these things, and I have this sense of I don't want to waste my scraps, waste my junk. That's so funny, but that is literally what I'm having. But I guess the point is that I need to push through this feeling. The whole point of junk journaling is to not be overly precious about this trash. So I need to just breathe through it and just get started. Let's just make a page or two. Let's just make a couple of pages. Let's not overthink it. I'm overthinking it already. But let's try not to. So starting off with a little welcome page, I wanted to make my own DIY version of a This Journal Belongs To spread, but the one that came in this notebook was just so pretty, so I decided I would just write my name in. But as you can see, I literally had to practice writing my own name like a dozen times before I felt comfortable enough to write it into the notebook in pen, but whatever, I'm excited about how it looks. Doing this really reminds me of my old bullet journaling days. I used to love the process of making these pretty little spreads every month. It was just such a good opportunity to be creative and just a lovely little weekly, monthly physical ritual. And that's really why I wanted to try junk journaling, but I will say I was already starting to get pretty stressed out by this point, and we have barely started. Guys, I really envy the Plan With Me girlies who are able to be really aesthetic on the spot, because this is really hard and stressful. Be that as it may, you know, I have really just been craving to have a low-key, hands-on hobby to help me just make space to slow down and make shit. You know, I use Notion for my whole planning and life operating system now, and I have plenty of videos on my channel if you're interested in seeing how I use Notion for planning and journaling. But I really miss this crafty art making process so much. I mean, just listen to that sound. It's so good. But yeah, just using stationery, markers, stickers, whatever. I miss that stuff so much, and I like that junk journaling is basically like bullet journaling, but without the planning portion. That's really nice, actually, because it means that theoretically there is no pressure involved in this at all. Like, you can do it on your own time, whenever you feel like it. It's not tied to, you know, getting things done that you need to get done or whatever. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Something that's low-key that I can do with my hands and just make some art that has no purpose other than to, you know, just slow down and enjoy the process.
And it's not like this is coming easy to me. I keep kind of quote unquote messing up, or like I'll literally, it's so funny. I'm just like, I'll draw like a single line with a marker on a page. Look at this. This is so and then I just like have to like rip it out, turn the page and start over. It's so funny to watch myself doing this process, but at the same time, I don't know, I think it's really valuable. I feel like for so many of us, or at least for myself, we don't do enough kind of playful, creative things like this anymore. We're all so overworked, and there is so much focus on productivity and this pressure to get more stuff done and work on self-improvement or whatever. And then it's like any downtime that we have is spent recovering from how hard we're constantly going. So I like that hobbies are sort of becoming popular again these days, which is kind of a funny thing to say, but I think it's true. And specifically creative hobbies like this that get me off my phone and back into my body, into my own mind, and that just help me tap into myself and express myself in this visual format. What I'm doing here, by the way, is I thought it would be nice to kind of start off the journal with a little list of reasons that I'm starting a junk journal. You know, just something to kind of ground this practice, this notebook in my intentions, and just make sure those intentions are kind of set forth right here at the very start of the journal. So, you know, just so later on when I'm flipping through the pages, I have right here at the front a kind of manifesto or a kind of official record of maybe like what was in my heart of why I wanted to try out this practice. And maybe this can also help me out as I am creating pages. I can kind of come back to this page, this kind of first page, as like a reference point for myself to kind of remember why I'm doing this. And you can see I've kind of listed out basically just the same stuff I'm talking about right now. But yeah, I find that doing hobbies like this just help me disconnect from that hustle-focused productivity culture. And it's just such a good reminder that not everything needs to ladder up to something else. I don't always need to be planning and working toward my goals or trying to evolve or become better or get more work done. You know, sometimes we can just be. And especially today when there is so much focus on automation and moving faster and digitizing everything, or like getting AI to do stuff for you. Like, honestly, I think that all of that is just making me really want to lean even more into actual art making with my own two hands. Like, it's making me appreciate human ingenuity, human imperfections, human touch so much more. There's so much meaning here, so much soul. It's just irreplaceable. Now, all that being said, it has been a long time since I've allowed myself to do something like this, and I am definitely struggling. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. One thing about me is that I will not ever lie to you guys. So I'm a couple hours into this whole junk journaling thing, and to be honest, this is not as de-stressing as I thought it was gonna be. I love the concept of junk journaling. However, what I will say is, one, trying to do this while filming is really difficult because of having to think about both making the art that is putting things in the notebook, but I'm also thinking about the art of the video that I'm going to produce about the process of making this art. It's like this double layered thing, and it's making it hard for me to kind of concentrate on just like the junk journaling part of it. I feel like I'm very focused on like not just like what these pages look like to me, but also what the pages will look like to you all. So that's just a transparency moment. Separately, honestly, as somebody who really struggles quite a lot with perfectionism in general, I tend to be very precious, I guess, about all of the things that I create, any work that I do, things that I put out into the world. I think a lot about it. And so junk journaling is really challenging that perfectionism, and that's probably a good thing. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the best thing ever to be overly precious about every single thing that you put out into the world, because when you are that precious about everything, you create a lot less stuff, or you put out a lot less stuff. Ultimately, it's like your perfectionism just ends up limiting how much art you're able to put out into the world, art or whatever it is that you're making. And so I think it's really good to practice just getting used to like posting stuff or publishing stuff or making art without worrying about how good it is or how good it's gonna be. Like, I really believe in that idea of like making bad art just to practice making it, like doing the thing. And also, like, that's what junk journaling, I guess, kind of is. And I guess maybe my point here is just that I am feeling challenged. Like, it is challenging me. It is really challenging my sense of wanting to like have beautiful finished pages. And so I keep looking at my pages and being like, ugh, this doesn't look good at all. It's not up to my standards. And it's like, whoa, the whole point of this is to not have any rules and to not feel like this need to make this thing perfect. And yet here I am. Like, even with all of my, first of all, hold on one second. Let me show you what my room looks like right now. Guys, look at this. This is what my room looks like right now with all of my scraps everywhere. Like all of my like art supplies and stuff. I mean, it's kind of bananas. I had kind of, for some reason, thought that this was gonna be like a simple, fun, crafty activity, when in fact, one, it's like really hard to go through all of these scraps. I've been collecting scraps, as it turns out, for the last like 2 years. I got 2 years of scraps. A lot of it is like junk, but then of course a lot of it is also like tied to specific memories. I have like boarding passes from my honeymoon. I have birthday cards from people who I haven't talked to in a while. Things that I got in places that it's like irreplaceable. So there are some things in here that I wouldn't necessarily, I guess, call junk. They're memorabilia. They are like things from my daily life, but it's not like quite junk. So maybe this is like kind of messing with my ability to just like whatever, slap stuff on the page, because I am not wanting to waste or ruin my actual like ephemera from all of these like real important memories to me. I don't know. I guess maybe it is definitely, for me, it's ending up being a lot harder and more labor intensive than I thought it was going to be, based on like all the cute videos that we see on social media of people junk journaling. And maybe that's because I just need to continue working on breaking through that like self-judgment and that like being precious about everything I'm making part of myself, if that makes sense. Also, it's probably really bold of me to try to do this for the first time while filming. Like, I'm glad that you guys are gonna see the real life process of this, but I'm also a little bit like, oh my god, what is this video gonna be? Like, I don't know. Like, as I'm talking to you, this is completely breaking. I had a plan of what the kind of final video would be like. It did not include this. Look, here's my like goofy little, what do you call this? Overhead camera thing. Like, this is so extreme. I've also never filmed a video like this. What was I thinking? I don't know. Oh my god. I'm pressed, but I have a lot of really cute stuff. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place. I'm gonna just try to power through and we'll see where we land. I guess while you have me here, maybe I'll just share some thoughts. Maybe I should put this as some tips. Number one, if you are a perfectionist like me, if you're an artist, someone who like cares a lot about your art, or you are exploring your art and you're a little nervous, you're like a beginner to it, I'm not gonna lie to you, this process, it might work and help you kind of break out of that like feeling of being like super precious about what you're making. It might help you just like kind of break the seal and just kind of get into the process of putting stuff on paper, which is so vital. You might be able to kind of break through and start getting stuff on paper and just get the juices flowing and just like freely express yourself without being too worried about what other people are going to think, because no one else is going to see the pages in your notebook anyway. That might happen for you, or it might turn out the way it's kind of turning out for me, which is it's kind of triggering my perfectionism. It's kind of triggering my need to like kind of control the outcome, control how I'm being perceived by others. I have this fear that people are gonna look at these pages and be like, ugh, it's not actually that cute. Like I have this fear people are gonna look at these pages and think that I am actually not that creative or not that good at making art or making stuff and whatever. I'm not even an artist, guys. Like I'm like a planning nerd. I'm like a girl who likes making little databases in her Notion. Like I'm not even really an artist, or maybe I am. I don't know. But I'm surprised that this is challenging me as much as it is. I guess I'll just leave it at that. So tip number 1, be prepared that like this may or may not work for you. It's just gonna depend on you and kind of maybe the muck that you're working through or aren't working through. Maybe this will help you work through that muck, and I think that I need to kind of maybe keep up with the practice to see how it works for me, and maybe it'll work for you too. Gosh, I'm doing a bad job turning this into tips, aren't I? So tip number 1, know that what you're getting into may or may not be good and work for you. Number 2, 2 years of scraps is a lot of scraps. I was excited because I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have so much stuff that I'm not gonna be worried about not having enough material. But there is such a thing as having too much material. I have so many scraps here that I'm actually panicking. Some of it I'm like, this is so unimportant, I don't even want to put it in there. And some of it I'm like, this is too important, I don't want to like cut this up, I don't want to stick this in there. Like, what if I don't like how I put it in there and it's already glued into the page? Like, I keep having all of these different feelings. So I probably need to lower the stakes and just really use like total scraps of junk for now to like help me not feel so precious about it. But 2 years of junk was too much junk. You don't have to wait until you have a critical mass of stuff. Just start putting things in a notebook, and maybe don't film yourself doing it. So if you hate it, it's okay. That's kind of the point. That's the point. It's okay. It's okay to make bad art. It is okay to make bad art. I think that's the point. I'm learning the point as I'm doing it. I'm struggling. Number 3, set aside enough time for yourself. Because you don't know if this is gonna be a 1-hour endeavor, which was what I thought, or if it's gonna take you a couple of hours to look through all your scraps and think about how you wanna present them on the page. And I take a long time to make stuff, and that's okay. Anyways, maybe junk journaling isn't for me. Maybe junk journaling isn't for everyone. Maybe I need to just keep doing more of it. Maybe I need to do it without filming. I don't know what the answer is, because I still have faith that this could be a great endeavor for me. I feel like this might even be exactly the kind of practice that I need to break out of this perfectionism thing that I've got going on, this preciousness. If nothing else, I guess what I would say is it's worth trying this out, because I kind of feel like I just learned a lot about myself, or maybe I realized that there are some things that I'm still working through in terms of feeling confident in what I produce or what I'm creating, or also tying less of my like self-image to everything I create being absolutely perfect or a perfect expression of who I am. This is something that I think maybe that's kind of what it is. I'm like wanting each page to be a perfect expression of myself, and that makes it really hard to put anything on the page because clearly I'm still learning about myself, so how am I gonna ever produce something that is a perfect expression of myself? Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, as you can see, this is really getting me thinking a lot. If you've ever tried junk journaling and like it or don't like it, did you hate it? If you hated it, if you loved it, however you felt about it, could you please share down below in the comments? Oh, I'm like literally so shocked with how this experiment turned out. I thought this was gonna be a really chill, fun, relaxing activity and easy to film. Oh my gosh, I was so wrong. I'm so stressed. Okay, so perhaps against my better judgment, I did decide that I wanted to go ahead and try creating a second spread. I figured I'm already at it, I have everything out, so I might as well just keep going with it. I start off with this pad of scrapbook paper, like literal scrapbook paper. I've had this pad for such a long time and I don't think I've used a single sheet of it. So I figured I would take a page and use it as kind of the backdrop of this spread. I also grabbed some scraps from the last spread and I really wanted to use this clothing tag from Lace Made. I just think the art on it is so pretty. That was one of the main pieces of scraps that I really wanted to try using. And then I just kind of got to collaging. So the idea for this spread is to do a about me spread, which I think is such a cute concept. I've seen other people start their journals with something like this. It's kind of like a little profile or like an about me page with just a couple fast facts, like fun facts about yourself and very basic things like name, age, current favorites, that sort of thing. Kind of reminds me of like the MySpace days or like really early Facebook days where you would like kind of fill out a little questionnaire about yourself and like post it to your page. But I think this concept is a really cute way to start a junk journal or like any journal because it kind of acts as sort of like a snapshot of who you are currently, like right now in this moment. I feel like this is gonna be a cute thing for like future me to have at the start of this junk journal, so that way when I'm flipping through the pages I can kind of start off by grounding myself in this context of who I was at the time, like which version of myself I was when I was, you know, creating all of these pages. So yeah, I think that's cute. It's just like a little snapshot of me right now in this current present moment. By the way, I do end up stopping for the night. I was getting pretty tired and I wanted to just start fresh the next day with a fresh mind and see if that helps give me a little bit more of a creative spark. I was still a little overwhelmed, to be honest, but that's okay. I do think, ooh, by the way, look at this cute Polaroid of me. Ugh, that's like a really cute photo of me dressed as an elf for Halloween from last year. I really like that photo of me, but I decided not to use it because I was being a little precious again. I was like, I don't know if I want to stick this Polaroid that I really like of myself into this journal. If I paste it in, what if I don't like it? I don't want to waste it, blah, blah, blah. But
I don't know, it probably would have been cute if I did. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I'll put it on like that first page, like the This Journal Belongs To page. Now that could be cute. So right here I'm writing out, by the way, the little categories of information that I plan on including. You can see for the title of the page, I created these little handmade, hand-drawn, cute little bubble letters, but I think it would have been cute if I had saved up some magazines, or like I get a lot of like junk mail and flyers like in the physical mail. Like it would have been cute if I had saved some of those and cut out the actual like letters and created like a little, you know, magazine cutout letter style header for this page, but maybe I'll save that idea for a future spread. But I like how this turned out because the color palette is actually, it's very me. So it also feels like, again, just like a good, cute little representation of who I am. So, oh, so another section I wanted to include on this page is identities that I hold, or some identities that I hold. And I'm laughing because I spelled the word identities wrong, and I literally did not realize this until now, like when I was editing this footage. And so, I mean, it's fine, imperfections, blah, 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 like we're embracing them. But I also think identities is kind of a funny and cute abbreviation for the word identities, which is what I was trying to write here. But I do really like this section that I decided to include. I like the idea of phrasing it as some identities I hold, as opposed to just like trying to describe myself completely or like in totality, because I think that sometimes I get overwhelmed when people ask me to like give fun facts about myself, or, you know, if I'm asked like who I am or what I do. Sometimes I get a little stressed out and overwhelmed by that, because I feel like a lot of pressure to make sure that whatever descriptors I give are like really accurate or like really complete descriptions of who I am. But obviously that is really silly, because we contain multitudes, we contain so many identities, and no one single word, no one single descriptor is going to perfectly, you know, capture the full totality of who we are. So I really liked this phrasing, some identities I hold, because it allowed me to just be a little bit more casual about what I wrote in here. I didn't feel the need to make sure I have every single identity I hold is included on this page. I just write in the ones that are top of mind for me right now in this moment when I'm creating this page. And in a way that also makes it particularly uniquely special, because again, it's just really showing what's top of mind for me, what is in my head and heart right now, how I'm thinking about myself right now in this moment. And you'll see some of the things that I write in for that section in a second here, but here I'm actually writing out some of my current favorites, and it's a bunch of things that are probably very obvious about me right now. If you've been watching my channel, it's very obvious that I'm going through a huge fairy core phase. I am so into fantasy, and kind of like that fairy core ethereal aesthetic has been really resonating with me a lot. Notion, the color pink, these are all things that, it's no surprise to anyone, are big favorites of mine in this moment. I also write in D&D there. I have a D&D group going with a couple of friends. We meet up every couple of weeks to just go on our little adventures with our little cute adventuring party, and it is so much fun. I'm really, really enjoying, just being in that kind of creative fantasy universe. The next thing I'm doing here is I am looking through my pile of scraps to kind of find bits of scraps that feel like they visually represent each of these favorites, or as many favorites as possible. I don't have a scrap for everything, but at least some of them I wanted to kind of visually represent with a piece of scrap. Ooh, a moment to talk about this half magic box. Like I think this is the packaging of a like glitter puck that I had gotten, like eye glitter or something, but it just so happened to have this artwork of fairies on it, which I didn't realize when I had saved the scrap, but now I'm so happy I did because it's perfect for representing my love of fairies for the spread. So yeah, in a second here, I'm gonna write down some of those identities I was talking about that are just resonating with me right now in this moment, or in the moment that I was making this page. And one of the nice things about, I guess, the junk journal in general, but the way that this page is laid out, or the way I was thinking about this page, is it is very almost like ephemeral, because, you know, who we are is constantly changing, and the parts of ourselves that are most important to us, most prominent, or kind of surfaced for us, it might shift a lot over time. But I love that I'm gonna have this page as kind of a little visual record, a cute little record of how I think of myself right now currently. So I love this. In a second here, I'm gonna actually fast forward through a lot of this footage, because the last thing I'm gonna do is just try to organize all of the elements that are on this page. Clearly, it's like a lot of text. I spent a long time kind of figuring out how to fit all of the pieces on the page. And then after I've decided, you know, gotten the layout right, that's when I then take everything off to start pasting it in, which probably wasn't the most efficient way to do this, but whatever. The point is the process, enjoying the process. And this was, maybe I wouldn't take this as advice for how to go about creating a spread, but that's how I ended up doing it. And you know what? At the end, the finished product I think is really, really cute.
Alright guys, obviously this ended up being way more difficult than expected. I love the idea of junk journaling for all the reasons I mentioned earlier, but that part about the perfectionism and that fear of making bad art, that fear of creating stuff that isn't up to my personal standard, those feelings really got triggered in this process. But like I said, I sort of think that this is evidence that I, like me, myself personally, might actually really need this exact type of practice, because I don't want to be hoarding all of this stuff but too afraid to use it. Like, I don't want to be so scared of producing something bad that I don't produce anything at all. I don't want to be held back by my own self-judgment, my own fears. Anyways, I wonder if I really kind of need to keep practicing this art of being okay with the imperfections, of just putting stuff on the page. I feel like this might be an important practice for me, and maybe for you if you're anything like me. Number 2, if you're going to try this, start out contained, start small. Don't feel like you need to lay out every single thing that you own, every piece of scrap, every art supply, every piece of memorabilia you've ever collected. That's what I did, and it was too much. Just like a week of scraps is great. Start small, start there. And I think that might help with making this whole process feel a little less overwhelming. Number 3, I actually found it really difficult to actually use any of the like real memorabilia from my actual life, the actual Polaroids, or like my brother's wedding invitation, or like even just like receipts from dinners I had with friends. I was so excited about having this like tactile like record of my memories with all of these like actual things from the experience. That was so exciting to me to put that in the journal, but I was actually so nervous. I think maybe it's like commitment issues, maybe because I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue this practice yet. So I was like, I don't wanna paste my actual like things into these pages. I was just surprised by how hesitant I was. I don't know, I was just kind of afraid of like ruining these like artifacts that I can't ever get back, you know? But obviously it doesn't make sense, because what else am I gonna do with like the little brochure from my Maggie Rogers concert? Nothing, it's just gonna sit in a folder somewhere, so it might as well be in this journal, like displayed in a beautiful way. So it doesn't really make sense that I'm so resistant about it. I think what I'm gonna do is maybe I'll try to challenge myself off camera to try to create at least one spread from one event with like real ephemera from my real life. If I do, I'll put a photo of it up here somewhere so you can see it, but that's just another thing to be aware of. Expect some resistance, and also, again, that's kind of part of the point, is being okay with using your stuff. It's not like it's gonna stop existing once it's in the journal. I'll still have it. So just something to be aware of. Number 4, the thing about junk journaling is it's supposed to be this purposeless creative outlet. However, if you're gonna be taking photos or videos of your pages afterwards to like post them online, that's what I'm doing right now. That does kind of defeat the purpose a little bit. And not that it defeats the purpose, but it makes it a lot harder to create without being at least a little bit concerned about what the pages are going to be, like what other people will think when they look at the pages. I don't know, if you're intending to let other people see the pages, and of course you're gonna like slightly think about how other people are gonna perceive it. So I don't know if this is just me and my like self-judgment, my fear of judgment, I'm not sure what it is, but that was definitely, I was like, whoa, this doesn't feel low pressure like I had thought it would. And maybe if you're gonna try this, try it first without the intention of letting anyone else see it, because I kind of think that will make it easier for you to just let loose and do the thing. I would love any advice or kind words of affirmation. You know, what you think would help me with getting more comfortable with this process. And of course, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you're gonna try junk journaling, or if you have tried it, what your experiences with it have been. But literally, honestly, the main thing I want right now is advice. Like, advice would be great because this was really hard for me. Thank you for listening to me have like an identity crisis over a junk journal, literally over a pile of trash. I'm gonna just go ahead and direct you to another video somewhere over here where hopefully I seem like I have my shit together just a little bit more than I did in this video. And yeah, I'm gonna just see you over there. Bye guys. Oh my gosh. Wow, this was a shock.